Howdy.
What's up, Finneas? How are you?
Great. I was just watching the belated. I mean, I'm late to the party. I know it's Tuesday, but I was watching like the at home edition of SNL this week.
How was it? Did you find it to be as humorous as in studio SNL? That might be a dicey question. I'm sorry, putting you on the spot already.
I am interested in one day maybe having the opportunity to host that show someday, and so I don't want to slander it too hard.
I
But I
understand.
would say, I would say it's okay, and that means it's just as good as it normally is.
I feel that. Also, I'm Jordan, by the way, in Minneapolis. Thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. There's a lot to talk about. You got a lot of cool stuff going on. So I want to start off with just some quick producer questions. I'm going to
Copy.
say, I'm going to ask you a question, and then just top of mind, boom, really
Yep.
instinctual, primal things.
Yep.
Um, favorite chord?
Ooh, love that question. My favorite chord is probably like here. Let's see if I can. How can I do this in the most interesting way? So here's a keyboard right next to
There
me.
it is.
My favorite chord, and you're not going to hear it because it's not
It's
on.
all plugged in and
Favorite
running.
chord is like a B minor like 7, so it's like a F sharp, an A, B, and a D like that. Like blow.
Yeah. That's my favorite chord. This is crazy. Is a B flat minor 7. So we are almost right there. We're almost chord
They're
brother.
really good. Minor 7s are fucking great, man.
They're happy and sad at the same time. They give you a lot of creative leeway.
I'm not I'm not like as my limited knowledge of music theory expands a little bit, I understand how hard it must be for like real true like jazz nerds to not just bastardize everything, because the more sort of augmented chords the more you're going to use them because they add color, and then suddenly you end up with like you know I don't who am I comfortable slandering, but a cover of like a really simple song in the douchiest way.
Well, it becomes, I mean, you don't need a slander on it. It becomes a bit pretentious and you insist upon yourself.
It just becomes like jazz, which I love jazz, but like sometimes it's just like sing a Beatles song the way that the Beatles wrote it. You don't have to like play like every chord in the chord book.
Yeah. So that surprises me. I thought you'd be pretty versed in the music theory land.
The only music theory I really have truck with was that I was in a choral program from the age of 12 to the age of like 17.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew, I won't even say I know anymore, but I knew a lot of vocal theory. So like I could, pretty much read vocal sheet music during those years and sing it,
Right.
which is basically not the case anymore.
Well, the thing with using your voice as an instrument, I'm assuming that helps with melody because you don't need to know. You don't need to be like, hey, I need to be in this scale. You can just sing it real quick and then you can just transpose it. I'm probably.
I think music theory should basically be like, it should be learned the way that we all learn language, right? Which is like, as a child you learn it, it's innate, and then as you get older it's like harder to learn, but eventually you get back to where you were as a kid, where you just speak it and you don't have to understand it, but you can articulate yourself. I think that's like, that would be my advice to people interested in music theory. Would be like, yeah, just get yourself educated to a point where you can make the music you're trying to make.
What is your favorite drum kit that you've ever downloaded? Is there a certain producer's kit or whatever?
An awesome question, and I am willing to answer it.
Thank you.
It's not. I won't keep this one a secret. Are you familiar with Battery, like the plug-in Battery?
I'm not. That's actually my next question. Was your favorite plugin? So
Battery's a Native Instruments drum machine designer, and they have some number kits, and they have one kit called DMT, DEEEMTEE, but DMT.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like every sound on it is really dope. And I've used that, like elements of that kit on so many songs. It's just great. It's just got great textural things. Like I'm talking about it right now, and then the song that I'm gonna put out next, I'm like, I still have to do some percussion work on it today, and I'm like, I should revisit that kit because it's that good. It's just really good.
Get into the DMT kit. Do you frequent Splice at all? Is that your jam? I find that very useful for percussive loops, especially. You can get some cool.
I love Splice. The thing about Splice that I love more than anything else is their cloud server. Like they'll auto back up all of your projects and like so well. Like you go onto a new computer and you download it from your server. It's like amazing. Part of my vibe, it's funny because I just mentioned a stock drum kit, but part of my philosophy as a producer is create sounds. So I don't use it all that much. I use it sometimes, and I've actually talked to whoever the head of Splice is about that, of kind of like, I'm like, I love what you guys do. I'm kind of not like really a candidate for your service because I don't really do it. Like I mostly just am like taking a microphone and like going like, and then like
lighting matches for snares. I know what you're doing.
That's the stuff I'm doing. And then they were like, well, you should do a kit for us. And I was like, no.
Damn, dude, I was trying to download it. Come on.
I was like, no, that's that's Coca-Cola giving away their recipe. I was like, no.
That's facts. That's facts. You're kind of hot right now, so I can see why that might be a no situation.
Yeah, a couple years from now when I'm a has-been, I'll be like, guys, wait, here's my Splice pack.
What's your preferred DAW? What are you most comfortable working in?
I'm pretty much only comfortable in Logic. I really don't, I'm not versed in Pro Tools or Ableton. I'm closer. Like if someone forced me to make a song in Ableton, I'd do a better job than if someone forced me to do one in Pro Tools. But Logic is the one that I know inside and out.
Logic has great stock VSTs. They have great stuff. They're wonderful.
So good. Really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, wow, this is, and everyone can get it. It's so accessible, and you can have access. That's what's cool about Logic and FL. It really opened up.
I have FL too. I really like their sequencer.
The sequencer is fire on FL.
Yeah, pretty great.
What's your favorite piece of gear right now? It's a pretty fluid question, but right now, what are you preferring?
That's a really good question. Well, just out of people's curiosity, I'm doing a mic shootout right now, which is why I have this Telefunken U48 AE. I've pretty much always used this Neumann TLM 103. I just really like it, and I have the guy that designed my studio for me. I just sort of said, like, I've only ever used this one mic, so give me some stuff to try. And I've been recording for the past couple of days with this Telefunken, which I really like. And then I have another Telefunken, which I can't read from across the room, but I'm doing a shootout with a couple of those.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I like them a lot. This one's nice. This one has more low end. The other Telefunken didn't have enough low end for me. I have a really low voice, so like I need to have 500 hertz below. I need to have like that really resonant, because that's how my voice is.
What recording or producing advice do you have for the effervescent Minnesota music scene? We got a good hip hop and punk thing going on here. We got a bubbling pop scene as well. So I want to know if you could, just one tiny grail, not the whole thing, because I understand.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think depending on skill level, not to pander, like let's say that the people that might need advice the most are like real true like beginners. Like I feel like if you're already like really on your pathway, like you might not need my advice so much. Like you're probably like figuring it out yourself.
You have your own method.
Yeah, exactly. So like maybe people right at the start. I guess to me, the advice that I try to give out as liberally as possible is that I felt that I was bad at producing music until I was not anymore. And it was a weird, like, I guess I thought the stepping stones would be more gradual, and I'd be like, wow, this is crazy bad. And then I'd be like, well, this is not so bad. And then I'd be like, hey, we're getting somewhere. And it was like, none of this is good. None of this is good. Hey, there's a song that is a hit, like that. And by that token, sometimes I still feel bad. Sometimes I'm like, making a song, and I'm like, the man upstairs is gone. I've lost it today.
So it's a message of persistence and belief that one day you'll just be incredibly dope beyond your wildest dreams.
Unbridled optimism.
Have you spent much time in Minnesota? Do you have a favorite Minnesota memory? You guys have been here, I think, twice in the last 2 years.
We've been to Minnesota twice. My memory of both shows were really fun. Yeah, I remember them being really, really fun. It was definitely like, this is the nature of touring. Minnesota has never been the start or the end of a tour, so it's in the blurry middle.
Yeah, well, just like in the country, we're right in the blurry middle.
Well, yeah, but especially on tour. Like, if we started in Minnesota, I'd be all fresh and I'd be out and looking around. And when it's in the blurry middle, you wake up and you're like, where am I today? And then you send your girlfriend like, I think I'm in Minnesota, and then you take a photo from your hotel room, and then you go play a show, and then that night you're gone. So I think the crowds have been very generous and wonderful. Wait, okay, I have a Minneapolis story.
I'm ready.
It's not like that interesting, except that my girl flew out to visit. We played to my memory, the last show we played in Minneapolis was in like the first or second week of June of 19 at the Armory. Am I wrong?
Yes, you're correct.
All right, I'm feeling pretty good about it now, to be totally honest.
I gotta be honest with you, Finneas. One of my childhood best friends got married the day of your show for the tour. So I was like, Julia, I'm gonna do this because I love you, but I'm missing some history.
So that day, I think my memory is that we had a fucking awesome day. I think we, this is really like contradicting everything I said about the blurry middle. I think that day we woke up, somebody took us out on a boat on one of the lakes, which was really nice. I remember, not to flex too hard, but I remember it was actually so cute. We were on this boat, just boating around, and it was one of those, I forget the region or what dock we docked at, but we all wanted like popsicles or some shit, right? So we like docked our little, boat at a dock and went into like the little like podunk, fish food convenience store. And these two like 15-year-old girls were in there, and like Billy walked in, and they were just like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like they were which not to put much stock into whatever, Billy means to anyone, but like, it is a wild day if you work at a place like that and somebody comes to your dock that can only be accessed by boat water or rural road. So that was really fun. And then later in the day, my girl and I broke out of the it's funny because the venues, not so much now because we play arenas, but at that point we were playing these sort of like theaters and amphitheaters, and the line just snakes around the building. So it's a little bit like friendly, loving, sweet 15-year-old zombies all around your bit. Like you can't really get out. And so the only way to do it is to have high-powered scooters like a bird, and to just bust out. You have your security just like open the gate, you just go and you just like zoom off. And so we zoomed off down to the river and took the bike trails and got some boba. It was nice. It's a great day.
That's beautiful.
Thanks, man. It was great.
I think you and Claudia would love Minnesota for a date night. We have great restaurants, great music.
You don't get to do date nights on tour because you're playing the show every night.
Well, maybe I know we're not the number one tourist destination, but we are top 15. I will stand by that. So down the road, pull up. We got you.
Yeah, I mean, other than this brief, long feeling period of American history that we're living through right now, or global history, a year from now, we'll be right back to it. We'll be touring a ton. Such is the nature of cyclical life. We'll be back in Minnesota playing.
Congrats on buying the house, by the way.
Thanks, dog.
And the podcast life.
I got a
how
couch.
did you?
There's a couch. I have a new couch that came today.
Wow.
It's really nice.
What is that? Is that a deep red or a mahogany rust?
It's by a brand called Interior Define, and the couch that I bought off of site. I like sat on it and was like, I love this couch. And it turns out the couch I bought is the Caitlin by the Every Girl. That's the marketed only to women couch that I was like, this is the couch for me.
Comfort knows no gender, so that's fine.
It's so comfortable, and in fact, the lumbar support, like where it hits your calf and your thigh, very, very male dimensions. Like my girlfriend sat on it earlier, really liked it, but she's too small for it. She has to curl up like most people under like 5'8" do.
Yeah. It's really helping your posture. I can tell you're sitting up straight because you got that nice lumbar support from the Evergirl.
Exactly. Yeah.
How did you settle the interior design debate? Because my fiance and I, we just bought a house, and we kind of clash. We have similar enough where we can get a dialogue going, but then there's some. Sure. I kind of have a flowery type feel, and she's more simple. So how have you guys addressed the interior design debate?
We make pretty good decisions together. I don't know if this was the case with you and your lady, but we merged two different places worth of furniture into one. So some of the pieces, complemented each other better than others, right? We had two coffee tables and two couches and two rugs, whatever. So we had to kind of like make choices. I have noticed that our tastes differ in terms of like outlandishness. Like she's a real Pinterest, like beige, gray, like she's real like muted in terms of like, wow, this is very aesthetically pleasing. And I will just like go on a tear and order like floral print patio cushions, and they'll just arrive, and she'll be like, huh, okay. And I'm like, aren't they beautiful? And she'll be like, I'm glad you like them.
If you like floral print, might I recommend jungle print? There's like, the flowers with the tiger. It's you'll lose the argument still, speaking from experience.
I've heard that Gucci wallpaper is on the cheaper side of like things you can buy from Gucci. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I have like fabric panels over. Like I wonder if there's something in our room that we could do like a Gucci print on. Just be like just one bathroom or something. You know what I mean? Where you walk in and you're like, whoa. I would love that.
There's a Gucci wallpaper that we were investigating that has Black Panthers on it. It's really tight. For us, I don't think our ladies will like it.
Wallpaper. Oh, this stuff is cool, man.
It's really fun. Has there been? So I guess you just described that question, so I'm going to skip it. What's your favorite chore around the house? Is there one that you actually like doing?
A chore?
Yeah, like one that you find to be peaceful or therapeutic.
I like that question. I mean, I love like organization, just because I love like getting a room like looking real like squared off. Trying to think if there's another one. I don't mind like having my hands in a sink for a while. Like I don't mind scrubbing dishes and pots and pans and stuff. I don't love vacuuming, like in terms of like.
That's the best one. Come on.
Yeah. So my lady, if I'm doing something else, like I'm always happy for her to get the vacuuming done. I like making the bed. I've always been like a bed maker.
Are you one of the people that's like, I'm going to start out with this easy task to really propel my day?
Yeah. Well, like, so I think growing up, because I like made music in my bedroom, whatever, like, in this house that we live in now, like our bedroom, we pretty much just like sleep in, you know what I mean? Like we're not like in there all the time. Yeah. And so it's easier to just like walk out of that room and not think about it for the rest of the day. And I think growing up, because I was always like working in my bedroom all day, like on songs, like I never wanted to have like a messy room when I was like working. So I think that's what it bled over from.
Boom. Hard skirt. You've expressed interest in scoring a film or a movie.
Yeah, I'm super interested in that.
If you could go and rescore any film, Not to put down, John Williams or Hans Zimmer, but just if you had the chance to do it, what movie comes to mind?
I saw some movie pretty recently that I liked everything about except the score, and I'm trying to think of what it was.
Was it Rango?
It was like a really good movie. Oh, okay, and like I'm willing to say this. 1917.
I haven't seen it.
It's so good, and it's a Thomas Newman score, and I really like Thomas Newman. I think he's pretty brilliant, and he's done scores that I've loved. In this specific movie, there are scenes that need no music, and they have music in them, and I'm always a fan of silence in movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just needs nothing, and instead there's like and you're just like, why? Like, why do we need this? But there is a beautiful theme in that movie. There's like a beautiful like theme that comes back over and over. And you're like, wow, this is beautiful.
I heard it was less of a war movie and more of a human, like personal story.
Yeah. There's the war is like happening in the background, and it's mainly just about these two guys. It's really good. It's like a film school movie. It's like all one shot. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, it's fire. So speaking of like of one shots, when you do, wasn't Let's Fall in Love for the Night? Wasn't that a single take?
I think I've done 3 in a row. I think actually 4. Yeah. It started with I did this video for Break My Heart Again. I've done 4 videos in a row with the same director. And Break My Heart Again, we did a bunch of different like close-ups and faraways, and I kind of said to him, like almost as a joke, I was like, "There's no way you're not gonna like fall in love with like one take of this, and that's gonna be the video." And he did. And then the next 3 video concepts were concepted as one take. The video for I Lost a Friend was just concepted as one. Shelter was concepted as one, and then Let's Fall in Love for the Night was concepted as one. And I like one take videos because I really like. I think edits can really screw a video up. Like I feel like sometimes you get a bunch of great footage, and it's just like in the edit, it just like doesn't make any sense. And so I like just knowing how it's going to look on the day.
That sounds very creation by reduction. Like the whole yeah. You don't want to overdo it. Same way with music. I mean, sometimes you take out a few elements and then you get the essence of it, and that ends up being doper than a maximalist production.
Well, I totally agree, and I think like that doesn't necessarily mean I won't try everything, but I don't usually end up keeping it all. You know what I mean? I throw a bunch of paint on the canvas and then I like erase a lot of it.
But who knows? Maybe that one loop can turn into that one melody. Like, hey, I had that melody. Boom, somewhere else.
I remember. I'm trying to think of what song. There was like some song of mine where I did that. I did something that was like so quiet in the song, and I was like, that should be like its own whole other song, which I haven't gotten around to yet. But at some point, I will.
You splice kitted yourself then.
I did, yeah. It's true.
What's next for Finneas, the solo artist? I mean, you're producing for everyone, but I just the Blood Harmony EP is so dope, and I want to know what's like next on the docket for you.
I wanted to put out an album in like the 3rd quarter of this year, and I think depending on where the world is now, I may push the album, but I'm writing new songs as a result of like everything going on. So I'm definitely going to put out a song this summer, and then probably another one shortly thereafter. I want to keep people fed. But it's been nice. Like initially when the EP came out, I was like, this probably be a new song out in like 2 months. And I've been grateful to like sort of let the EP exist. I think when you put out a new song, it kind of like steps on the face of the project you put out prior, because it's not the new thing anymore. So I'm glad that Blood Harmony has gotten to be the new thing for 6 months now. But I think it's time.
We can't wait to play all the songs eventually here in Minneapolis. When you're here, are you a pizza guy? Is that your vibe?
I am, but I don't do dairy, so I'm like a vegan pizza guy.
Minneapolis has a bountiful plethora of options for vegan pizza. So
All right.
pizza on me.
Thanks, bro.
I got you. Thank you so much for your time, Finneas. We'll see you next time you're in town. All right.
Take care.
See you, dude.
Bye.